I mean,
I
they played
predicted
Turbo.
Unitas for this one.
Wow.
What did you predict?
I don't know. I feel like in the past, the Shadow Priest, Rogue Shaman has kind of struggled into the Turbo Cleave, and that's what Unitas. It seems like they practiced at least for Cloud9. So wouldn't be surprised if they do lock that in game number 1. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, both these teams have had a great year so far. They find themselves in the lower bracket. The loser of this will be eliminated in the 4th. The winner has quite a journey ahead of them, having to get through Cloud9 and then, of course, make it to the final boss, which is going to be Methods. So it is going to be the Golden Guardians bringing in Jellybeans. So we see Jellybeans tagged in the blind pick and ready to be going up against Unitas Blue and their Turbo Cleave.
All right, this is a bit of a surprise here. Shadow Priest Hunter coming out from the Golden Guardians. Let's see if they can make the Shadow Priest Hunter work. I've always been a little bit skeptical towards it, but they have had some success in the past with it. Going up against that Turbo Cleave, though, would be very dangerous. See what they can do. Media or banner coming out here from Smexen, or from Aiden actually, because Smexen is not playing the warrior here, playing the shaman, but he's taking a lot of damage here from WizK. Born Good though should be able to keep him alive. Born Good gets feared. He trinket, sacrifice everything from Born Good here. He gets the double blinding light. Do you have anything to follow it up with? They have the Hammer of Justice as well, but the Shadow Priest Hunter so far, the pressure is looking good, Super D's.
He's pummeled into a Storm Ball. I mean, Jellybeans is pumping. Jellybeans came to play here in game number 1. He could easily get the bubble. Door of Shadows, freezing trap. Jellybean snipes it from across the field, going for the kill onto Smexen as he trades Astral Shift to try and stabilize. But now they've swapped to Aiden. Born Good has to Divine Shield. Defense after defense is being cracked by the Golden Guardians. This is what I want to see. Bring out the beans. Bring out the beans. And this is what you get. Every single cooldown, not even a minute into the game at this point. So long as they make some good trades defensively, I think they've got this.
I mean, it's looking good. Born Good, no Divine Shield. Here is a full trap, and there is no way out. Smexen's in a lot of trouble.
That's it.
He's going to have to keep himself alive. I don't know if he can do it. Looks like he will be able to survive with the intervene. Traps aside, Born tops him off, but these setups are scary. I mean, the Shadow Priest and the Hunter have a lot of crowd control for Born, and he doesn't have a break for another 50 seconds, so there's at least one more setup, and he is barely topping Smexen off. He's not! He gets interrupted. A big heal from Smexen, though, keeping himself topped off. If Born gets into crowd control, Smexen's almost completely tapped on mana. He doesn't really have anything left to work with. There's the full trap. This could be the game. Game number 1. Aiden does manage to land intimidating shot, but Smexen's still incredibly low. They're going after WizK. WizK might throw, and he gets taken down. So unfortunate. He's got the fade, dispersion, the swap, everything. They were going for the kill, but it gets reversed in just a split second, and Unitas Blue takes game 1.
Yeah, I don't think the Golden Guardians are too happy about that. They actually had a very commanding position in general here. They still had a lot of answers, but unfortunately for them, they do go down like that. And this could very well be one of those series that we see trade games. I mean, that's been kind of the theme of the day, especially. So, big victory here for Unitas Blue.
Yeah, most definitely starting off the North American region strong with Unitas winning this game number 1, which is a good thing considering that this is an elimination round and we know just how crucial that blind pick is in situations such as this. So we're going to see how they manage to pull it off here in this replay, but things are looking good so far as we're starting off in this series for Golden Guardians, Sid.
I mean, it's kind of just a feed, right? Like, they have so many cooldowns. They get everything. Like right here, Jellybeans gets a freezing trap. That gets bubble. It gets wall. I think it might have even got parry. Not 100% sure if my memory is still that good, but like they get everything. They're in such a massive lead at this point. I think they just get overconfident. They disrespect Born Good on his shackles. Like right here, they're still winning. They're just smashing Smexen. They're dominating. Golden Guardians have this game in the bag. Dispersion, life swap, fade, spirit link. Like they have everything in the bag right here. And then right here, Born Good goes for shackles. And I think it's like mandatory. I guess he got crit. Maybe it was just like a massive hit that caught him there. But it seemed like it was shackles that low on health. If they didn't have a stop, maybe they just could have used their trinkets differently. I almost want to watch the replay again. When did WizK trinket? Because it seems like using their trinkets to not use a cooldown. He trinketed way before this. Like not trinketing to go for a spirit link or not trinketing to go for a void shift. It seems like, well, then when you don't have them, you can't access those cooldowns anyways. is what put them in that awkward situation. Like right now, WizK and ASHAMANE'S both don't have medallions. They used them at looks like what was about the same time. So maybe they used them aggressively earlier on in the game. But it was definitely having no medallions, disrespecting the shackles. I mean, even just dispersing the shackle, even though the healing would be absorbed, I think the damage reduction would have at least kept him alive to get Void Swap. Like right here, dispersing, full fear on ASHAMANE'S. Seems like a fair disperse.
Dispersion, yeah.
And then at this point, it's too late. Like you're not. Because they were so far ahead. Like I don't want to see them switch. I want to see the medallions not overlapped. Most importantly, from WizK and ASHAMANE'S and play the same game. Like Jellybeans looks good. I don't think you take Jellybeans off and put him on the bench.
Yeah, I certainly hope that we get to continue seeing him play, and we'll see if they do decide to change it up. But yeah, certainly not the result that they were looking for game number 1 here on the side of Golden Guardians. But I do like that they're trying something new, because I don't think we really haven't been able to see Jellybeans at all recently with this team. I know there was a period of time where we did see him play quite a different number of things. I feel like especially recently, Golden Guardians in particular has been making quite a bit of adaptations that we haven't really seen them make in the past before, Ven.
I mean, they kind of have to. I feel like this was at least when I look at this matchup and seeing what Unitas Blue played yesterday, it's kind of an obvious pick from Unitas as a blind. That's what if I was Golden Guardians, that's what I would have anticipated. So bringing in something different, I really like the pick. I mean, basically, it's the same thing. This is how the matchup feels like to me. So it's basically the same thing as playing RPS, except you have way more CC. Now, BM Hunter does insane damage. It's very comparable to an Assassination Rogue. You still have the Mortal Strike effect, so you're reducing healing, and then you just have all the additional crowd control of the traps and stuff like that. So the matchup's going to play the same. It's going to be up to WizK and ASHAMANE'S to just stay alive by rotating their defensives against the Turbo, except now you have Jelly just doing as much damage as an Assassination Rogue, potentially even more, and then at the same time he's able to get these full traps, which are really setting up his team. So I think it's a brilliant pick. And I mean, although they lost, it really felt like they shouldn't have.
Yeah, so hopefully they can recover. Hopefully they can tie up this series, because like Ven said, they made a really good choice. They had a good blind pick, but they weren't able to pull it off, and they're gonna hopefully try it again here for game number 2. Looks like they did pick ASHAMANE'S, I believe I saw very, very quickly, and Unitas Blue chosen their composition. Let's see what Golden Guardians decides to do. Yes, Sid?
Do you feel like the strat is wrong? I feel like they could just fear Smexen every trap and go Aiden. Like, Smexen is carrying, right? Like, he's doing all the healing while Born Good is CC'd. I understand, like, the logic of trying to get split pressure, and there was a lot of split pressure, but at the same time, just isolating the warrior, you don't have to deal with intervene. I'm not sure if that would be more valuable.
Apparently, so... yeah, Sturge. I just got a message from Sturge. He said WizK actually DC'd. So when he got stunned, he actually DC'd.
Oh no!
Which is what happened. So they're in a really good spot. I feel like Golden Guardians. That's a rough place to be, right? I mean, it seems like you're winning the game. You got all your defensive cooldowns, and unfortunately, you disconnect and you go down without being able to use anything. So I feel like they kind of need to shake off that loss. I feel like they need to have full faith in the composition. If they can. I mean, if WizK's back, then they should definitely lock him in once again with Jellybeans and ASHAMANE'S. That's what I want to see, because I feel like it was a really, really good blind pick from them.
I actually think it's their best comp for like the whole tournament. I actually think they should play it the whole tournament. Am I really off base in saying that? I swear.
Against throughout the rest of the bracket today?
I literally think they should just auto-lock Hunter SP the whole day. Every game.
Are you sure your vibe's not Golden Guardian, Sid?
Is that the vibe right now?
That's the vibe. To get to the finals to meet my prediction of second place, but that's what they...
Okay.
Dude, I remember like a year ago when I called that composition. It was like the highlight of my career. I don't know if you remember that. I called that they were going to run it, and then they ended up winning with it.
It's really good, I swear. Like, BM Hunter just solos something in a trap, and then you also have Shadow Priest CC. Like, you got Shadow Priest Shaman defense synergy when it's synced up and you're not disconnected. And then you just got a Hunter pumping a target with so much CC. Like, this is probably one of the most underrated comps in the game, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, and I guess no one else can really play it, right?
There's no other hunters.
Not many. Yeah, there's not many.
I'm trying to think of because Horizon doesn't have a Shadow Priest, right?
Horizon doesn't need a Shadow
get-
Priest.
get-
I mean, if
get-
you have jungle, you do jungle. This is
No,
like
I'm just trying to think of like theoretically if they could, like not like they needed to. They literally just won Europe without it. But I'm just like they're the only team I guess you could potentially that has a hunter.
I think
really.
it's an underrated comp, but it's not a comp worth picking up unless you already accidentally have it. Like Golden Guardians just accidentally
yeah.
have this comp. It's not like they
Yeah.
really had to like think about it super hard. It's like Jellybeans is like one of the best hunters in the game. WizKids is one of the best Shadows in the game. Aster's one of the best healers in the game. So we've got it. I mean, we may as well play it. Whereas like another team, if they're just doing triple alt, it's not worth picking it up in that case, I don't think.
Kind of one of the most unfortunate parts, right, about having teams be 4-player rosters is if your fourth player is oftentimes like the best at their class, right? We've got Jellybeans, the best hunter on the bench. We've got, give me some other examples. You know, we've got like just
Blizzo
all of
didn't
these
play
fourth.
today.
What?
Blizzo didn't play today.
Yeah, Blizzo. Thank you. Like I was just like my brain stopped for a second. But yeah, Blizzo on the bench, best warrior, not able to see him
Zuni.
play. Gelu, best, Zuni. It's kind of sad. So it's good to see things like this happen where they're utilizing their fourth player in a good way too, and not just throwing it out there as like a last minute thought. I guess is what I'm trying to say, Zico.
Yeah, I think that is what you're trying to say. And I think what WizK is trying to say is give me a little bit more time right now because my internet is not enough. I think that's why we haven't gotten into a game just yet. So it's definitely a wise choice here, I think. Make sure everything is working nice and correctly here for the Golden Guardians. And for Unitas, I mean, they kind of got they got an extremely lucky break there. For them, they had a chance now to feel out the matchup. And let's be honest, it wasn't looking good for them. So now they actually have a chance here to just make sure that, okay, this happened. This was really bad for us. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to change things up? How do we want to approach this matchup? And exactly what is our win condition going to be? So for Unitas, this is basically the perfect situation for them to be in. And for Golden Guardians, I would say if the comps play out like this, it looked good. So if we get a couple of games sample size, I think we can safely start predicting them to go to the finals like Super Tees, but we'll see.
That's just gonna be the meme.
Does my prediction get like a what's the word here? Like a veto pass if he DCs like and can't play? Like I feel like it's not. I couldn't predict he was gonna DC. Like
you should have known.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
You should have known. It counts.
Predictions are all encompassing of any situation, Sid. Okay. It's
Oh, man,
literally
it would
in
have
the
been
rules
so
that
heads
players
up
are
if I had
responsible
just
for their own
guessed that he would
internet.
do
Okay. Yeah, but I think you guys are definitely right. Golden Guardians using their delay timer. A really unfortunate situation to be in, of course, when you see players run into that. So hopefully they can get that worked out. But in the meantime, we did get an opportunity to take a look at the team stats. And also, speaking of stats, the last time that these two teams did face off against each other was actually Golden Guardians that was able to pull off a victory. That was a 3-1 series. So I hope
prediction's not that off.
Yeah, it's not. It's not that off. We'll see. We soon shall see if Sid is right in that. But yeah, hopefully they can bounce back and prove themselves just a little bit more, and hopefully WizK gets things figured out. But Unitas Blue did take that first victory, so we'll see if they clean things up. But Unitas Blue, I mean, that's another story that we can talk about a little bit, is like they were kind of a newly formed team. They didn't really do all that well with their previous roster in the last season. And it's just like everything has clicked and everything has fallen into place for this team, Unitas. They've really sort of started to come into their own. Things have started to click for them, and we're seeing really good success with this team for this season, Super Tees.
I mean, the players that flew under the Unitas banner basically all kind of went to the wins and separated. I think Aiden.
Yeah, it's just Aiden
is the only one.
Yep.
Like nuked Smexon and Born Good, like this completely new team flying under the Unitas name, coming together. They came through the how am I spacing out on how to say that word? It's been a long day. Regulation Cup, is that right?
Relegation
Cup,
Relegation.
which was like the last ditch effort. Like if you want to get into this circuit, you got to win this one tournament, and they made it through that tournament as a new roster. They've never played together for any long-standing period of time competitively, so coming together as a completely new set of players, going up against veterans, right? Like Method and A.
Yeah.
Now they're long-standing veterans in my mind. They used to be the newcomers. Cloud9, old school, like, and then Golden Guardians have been around forever as well. So WizK's in here. Let's hope that the Golden Guardians can hold it together because they were dominating that last game.
All right, let's see what they can do. For the side of Golden Guardians, it's all about Absurge and WizK surviving as long as they can, allowing Jellybeans some time to actually set up these traps. So Blessing of Protection, Borngood is trading out an early Blessing of Protection on the Intimidation stun, so Jellybeans can't get the trap. Can he get it anyways? Let's see if he gets a trap. A bit of a disaster here for Borngood.
What is this damage?
Specs incredibly low. Massive damage coming in from WizK and Jellybeans. And you expect anything else from Jellybeans in this match? Let's be honest. Borngood didn't have to trade up the Trinket or the Divine Shield just yet. Smexen manages to hold on, so not a bad start here for Unitas.
Yeah, definitely a little bit better than last game. And you're going to see now Smexen looking for his target. WizK is going to be the target. Absturge in a hand of justice. Now here comes the Stormbolt. Here comes the damage. Do they have the damage to back it up? Absturge immediately responds here with the Ascendance. And he's got the Unleash shield there on the ground, reducing a lot of that damage and healing that Smexen's going to be doing. WizK, though, he gets wind sheared on Shadow. This is a dangerous situation for WizK. Blinding lights coming out here onto Absturge as well as WizK. But it looks like they are going to be fine for now.
That triple.
Double tap. Coming out. Big damage coming out. There's a full freezing trap. Borngood immediately is going to use that Divine Shield. And I think one or two more setups for the Golden Guardians, and this is going to be the game.
Yeah, they've got Trinket Link, still Dispersion, Greater Fade. They're in a great spot. Smexen's falling behind. Double Fear on the DPS, trying to punch down Smexen in game number 2, dragging him back into that Unleashed shield. But here comes a Stormbolt. Shackles, don't disrespect or disconnect on the Shackles here this time around. WizK stays alive through it. Greater Fades, needs to get out of the Spirit Bastion. He's trying to, he didn't get out of it with the Greater Fade. He gets pulled back in for a moment, but there's another full trap. That's the wall out from Smexen. He might just dive through the wall. Jellybeans is tearing in game number 2. Borngood has the Blessing of Protection. They purge that off immediately. Borngood gets in position for crowd control, but there's so many answers, and they unleash water, the shield here. Smexen can't stay on target. Stun onto Borngood into a silence. Smexen could easily fall in game number 2. He drops the Chain Harvest, trying to recover. Borngood Fleshcraft immune, the freezing trap. The only Necrolord Paladin in the game, getting some value, but he's falling behind. Avenging Wrath activates, clutches out a couple of big heals. They force Dispersion from WizK and the Trinket from Absturge. I think this mistake could cost them the game. WizK is so low. They dropped Spearlink Totem on the Spirit Bastion. They killed it before Absturge could get inside of it. Unitas Blue are clawing their way back. Jellybeans is trying to deny it. Full stun, double fear. Can he get the trap? Full freezing trap. Who's going to fall first? Smexen or WizK? WizK goes, or Smexen goes down. Golden Guardians tie it up.
Unbelievable. Golden Guardians, just from start to finish. I mean, there was a moment in the game where Borngood used Divine Shield. He had his Avenging Wrath, and Smexen was just dying through heals. Like, his health was just not going up over 40%. So, I mean, that just really goes to show you how much damage Jellybeans and WizK are putting out in this matchup. This is a great pick from the Golden Guardians. And here's the crazy thing about this composition, okay? The craziest thing about the Hunter Shadowpriest Shaman is nobody in the game runs it. Nobody plays it, so you don't get to practice against it. Golden Guardians basically gets to come up with a plan, and Unitas Blue is kind of just like, okay, well, what do we do? Because, I mean, they're eating lots of crowd control, and I'm sure they're not used to it. If they had a lot of reps in against this comp, it could be different, but this kind of surprise curveball coming in from Golden Guardians, definitely paying off.
Yep, absolutely. This was just an insane composition here, and every single time I'm skeptical towards the Shadowpriest Hunter, but every single time it just surprises me how well it works for these guys. So I'm happy to see that they're bringing it in and they're bringing it back. And for Unitas, I'm not sure what their answer is going to be, but we are going to take a look at the replay. I mean, this was a close game. It felt like it could have gone either way, but just the amount of pressure that they had on the side of the Golden Guardians every single time they got those traps, it was just, I mean, even now, like when Borngood, he's just trying to recover Smexen here. He's trying to power him up there with the Avenging Wrath. And WizK runs away here with the Dispersion, runs away all the way to the opposite side. And then, of course, here WizK getting absolutely clapped. But Absturge trading out the Spirit Link Totem, the Unleash shield as well on the ground, that big water blobby thing there. And then they get the Fear, they get the Stun Trap there. And there's nothing Smexen can do other than go offensive. They got the Sharpened Blade. And they almost had enough damage to take down WizK there, but It just wasn't enough, and they're able to get the win.
Golden Guardians 1-1 now, tying it up with that game number 2 victory. So Unitas is gonna try and clap back, get themselves on match point. Obviously, they want to be winning this game number 3 to be able to do that. So do we think that they're gonna adjust their strategy as we head into game 3, Sid?
I'm trying to think if they would change their comp. Like, Born Good's not going to play anything other than Paladin. I think that would Paladin, I guess, isn't that bad for the matchup. You have like lots of crowd control breakers. I think maybe going after the Shadow Priest isn't the move. I think maybe going after the Hunter. Then you got to deal with Feign Death. I don't know. I feel like this is actually really hard for Unitas as Turbo. I'm trying to think what else they could play, because this comp was kind of first crafted to beat Warrior Mage, which is the other main comp for Unitas. I don't think they want to lock a Fire Mage into Roar Sacrifice and Double Purge. I don't think that'll go over too well. But this Unleashed Shield talent that Absterge is playing, if he times them well, it just puts a puddle on the ground, and it's basically just massive damage reduction. And so WizK is very stationary, so he gets value out of putting that little circle on the ground to reduce the damage of the Warrior and the Enhancement Shaman, and it's just crafted so well. Jellybeans is just pumping out damage in the backline, landing crowd control and cooldown, basically, and it seems really tough for Unitas.
Do you think
Windwalker? No Windwalker Warrior.
That would be better. Yeah.
Could be.
I think that would be better.
I wonder if they could play Windwalker Warrior. They have to play the Paladin, though. They don't have the Shaman, so Windwalker Warrior Paladin, could that work? I mean, we've seen it kind of eat WizK alive in the past, and I mean, they have Smexen on Warrior, Aiden on the Windwalker Monk. It's definitely an option for them. I mean, they won game number 1, but if WizK disconnected, then it was not looking good for them. Like, that was definitely game 1 definitely looked like it was going in favor of the Golden Guardians. So Unitas, in my mind, with this matchup, they're kind of down 0-2. They're not. It's 1-1, but I would definitely not be confident in a Turbo Cleave if I was them.
You think they for sure would have lost that first game, Unitas?
Oh, I mean, you can never say for sure, but it wasn't looking good.
Good chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 99 games out of 100, Golden Guardians wins that one.
Okay, well, Unitas definitely needs to figure something out, so let's see what they've got in store for us. They've locked in Hook Point, so pretty small map, and Golden Guardians, of course, sticking with that composition. I don't remember the last time that not only did Golden Guardians like start off in a blind pick with playing Jellybeans, but like kept with it. I feel like Jellybeans is a player that we've seen kind of just pop in for 1 or 2 games in a series sometimes, and then it like either doesn't quite work out and they swap him out, or it ends up winning them the series or something like that. So it's interesting that we're seeing him continue to stay in. Obviously it's working, so there's not really any reason to swap off, but Unitas Blue sticking with this composition on Hook Point as well as Zico. So what do you think they're looking to change, since we haven't seen a comp swap from them, if anything? Or are they just going to try it? Same thing.
Probably get rid of the Necrolord, maybe. I feel like the Necrolord doesn't do too much there on the Pally. But yeah, I mean, since they didn't swap their composition, probably things like that, Covenants, Talents, probably discussing strategy as well. Are we going to go after WizK? Are we going to go after Jellybeans? Are we going to go after the Pat? There is definitely some options there, and that's the scary thing about Shadow Priest Hunter, right? Because we already talked about it a little bit, but nobody runs this. So it's not like, like even if Unitas comp has like, a counter, like if the meta evolves and it ends up with Turbo countering them, there's no way Unitas can know what that answer is right now, because they need to experiment. They need to actually try out the different strategies. So for them, it's going to be a rough one, but they can definitely make some adaptations with their actual character and at least take it from there.
Yeah, if you guys want to keep an eye on that, you can go to the description down below. There's a link to the gear, or you can go to awc.gcd.tv, I think, and you can check out the gear or exclamation gear in chat. There's a lot of options, and you can get all of that lovely information. But we're going into game number 3. It's Hook Point 1-1 currently. Let's see what Unitas decides to do in terms of adaptation to Golden Guardians win.
All right, see on a small map if they can connect the damage they need to win here. Smexen on that Enhancement Shaman. Love to see Jellybeans coming out of the Golden Guardians. He's playing on point today, ready to carry with the pressure. He needs to pull off 2 more wins for his team. Born Good with an early Blessing of Protection, but Smexen falls behind. an immediate strike of damage. Is this going to be a KO? We're not even seconds into this game. They're trying to blast back, but Smexon is still struggling. He drops out the Chain Harvest, but he's still low on health. Even through Avenging Wrath, even through Astral Shift, he's managing to barely scramble himself back up to full health at this point. Trying to take out WizK in a pummel. This is definitely one win condition, is interrupting the Shadow Priest, but Jellybeans is absolutely a terror in game number 3. Smexon is not stable at any point. If a freezing trap is going to land here, it could be a KO. There's no sacrifice. There's no trinket. Smexon pops Ascendance. He's trying to get aggressive and avoid that whirlpool on the ground, but he's not finding too much damage at the end of it. Borngood sits through a freezing trap. They drop Spear of Bastion, trying to KO WizK. Borngood's trying to move in aggressively. They land a full Fear onto Absterge. Nice dispersion by WizK for the Fear. I think it's a fair trade, but they get a full Hex. They could take WizK out here. No trinket. They need this win right here on WizK with the crowd control on Absterge, but they don't manage to find the kill. And that freezing trap is up. Smexon is isolated. WizK comes out of the stun. If they get Smexon down into Shadow Word Death range, he is certainly going to be KO'd by a kill shot and a Shadow Word Death. He's in KO range. Borngood moves in. Huge heal from Smexon with that healing surge, dropping a grounding totem, trying to break up the crowd control. Borngood is finally free, trying to proc an Avenging Wrath, but Jellybeans is all over him, waiting for the next freezing trap.
Yeah, I mean, when he lands it, it's going to be a nightmare situation. Borngood's going to have to immediately Divine Shield, and he does. Smexon could just die through it. Borngood's doing everything he can, just spamming out heals, Blessing of Protection, overlapped as well. Smexon, if he has to trade the Astral Shift, I mean, it's going to be good night. But WizK, in the meantime, also taking a huge amount of damage. He's got the Void Shift, but it's ultimately Smexon that goes down. It's unbelievable. I mean, Borngood is trading out his Divine Shield, he's bombing in heals, he trades out the Blessing of Protection. You would think Smexon would be okay, but nope. Jellybeans and WizK just tearing in, and they drop him. At the end of that game, Smexon had some cooldowns, but it's like, you do not want to have to overlap that hard.
Do not bench the beans. Do not bench the beans. Do not bench the beans.
Okay, you heard it here. Do not bench the beans, says Supatis. Golden Guardians 2-1 now. They are on match point, and Unitas is facing elimination. It would be a sad way to go considering the amazing season they had. But let's take a look at game number 3 here.
Yeah, just the Hunter Shadow Priest once again. Borngood, immediate Blessing of Protection. War Banner gets killed off. WizK patiently waiting, gets the Psychic Scream, trinket from Smexon, and then they get the Shackle here. They almost kill him in the opener here. They get the Astral Shift as well from Smexon. They got the trinket, they got Borngood's trinket, and a Blessing of Protection. So they already got an insane opener. And then here, of course, is the more later moments in the game. They get a stun onto Smexon here, almost takes him down, saved by the light procs. Big disarm here onto Borngood. Followed up with the freezing trap, insta Divine Shield coming out here from Borngood, I believe. And no, this was when they had the silence. So the next trap is the one where they get the Divine Shield, which I believe is just a second here. When Jellybeans is just running on top of him, there it is. Finally snipes it. And that's going to be a Divine Shield. Borngood spamming out heals here. Smexon doing what he can to stay alive, but doesn't really have... That Astral Shift is a... I think he's he's probably... Actually, no, I don't know. That's a bug on the UI because he used it at the start of the replay. There's no way it's up. Anyway, he's got the Intervene here and Absterge in a Hex. And here, just too much damage. They got the Fleshcraft countering the Shackles. You got Jellybeans just doing so much damage. I mean, Borngood could have healed there a little bit, but I don't know. You have to play to win there as well. Like, you need some pressure, right? Especially when you're playing like a Paladin Cleave. You're on a very limited timer to win the game. When your Paladin doesn't have breakers anymore, you lose.
Look at the healing of WizK and Smexon. WizK did more healing than damage, and Smexon almost did the same healing as Borngood too. So, I mean, that's how much damage these teams are doing. These games aren't even going into dampening. They're just dying. Bestial Wrath from Jellybeans. They get the Divine Shield. Like, in that replay, they got Divine Shield and Blessing of Protection, and Jellybeans just Bestial Wrath anyways. Like, whatever. He's probably going to die through heals, so they just go for it. And now Golden Guardians, I mean, this is interesting because I feel like what Golden Guardians has right now, like the BM Hunter Shadow Priest Shaman, could actually do well into Cloud9.
Yeah. This is why I predicted it.
Huh.
My prediction wasn't random. My prediction was not random. It wasn't a vibe or a feint of heart. Like, Golden Guardians beat Unitas in the past, and they beat Cloud9 in the past. And I swear Hunter Shadow Priest is crazy good. So
I think you just never tag Jellybeans out. I think at this point you just have to pull a method EU.
We are all coming together.
You pull a method EU and you just say, I'm sorry, Peekaboo, we're playing this for the rest of the tournament, and just see how far you can take it.
So 2 lessons we've learned today, really. Don't put Jellybeans in the corner.
Don't bench the beans.
Oh.
And don't win the first game.
And
don't win the first game.
Okay, so 3. Yeah, don't win the
this?
first game. And Stupides has big brain predictions. Did I cover it all?
Well, what about this?
Yeah.
How about this, though? I mean, obviously Unitas is not out of the... Yes, this is a hypothetical. If we get into the next series as Golden Guardians versus Cloud9, would you really not want to see Peekaboo?
I mean, maybe.
We see Method NA win as RPS?
Maybe
That's the only
Peekaboo.
exception.
Maybe
it would definitely be a shame, if they got knocked out here, because we wouldn't see Peekaboo get to play at all. I'm sure there'd be a lot of fans of the move that would be disappointed as well to not see him get to play at all. So
Peekaboo gets enough, Jellybeans never gets to play.
Yeah, you're right. He's got the subs and the stream. Let Jellybeans have some time in the limelight. You're right.
This is really interesting. So Unitas, they're going to switch it up. They're actually going to bring in Nuke on the Fire Mage. But believe it or not, if you guys think back, way back when, Golden Guardians actually used to use this as a counter against
and
this
it's even better now.
Yeah, it's even better, and they used to use this as a counter. And the idea is, so Fire Mages, they have a few things they don't like. They don't like purges, and guess what? Golden Guardians has Absolute and WizK, Dispelling Combustion. And another thing they don't like is Roar of Sacrifice. So you don't like purge, you don't like Roar of Sacrifice, and Golden Guardians, they have it all. They have everything you don't like, and then some. So Nuke is going to have a really difficult time getting off damage. So that's the big nightmare in this matchup for the Fire Mage is not only does he have to deal with Grounding Totem, he's getting his Pyro procs purged. Like, I expect Golden Guardians to just sit on Nuke the whole game, purge off Pyro, purge off his shields, purge off Combustion. If he does get a Combustion, you Roar Sacrifice it. And, I mean, I feel like if I was a mage playing the Golden Guardians, I'd want to cry. So, I mean, Unitas Blue, I feel like they don't really have much of an option here. They have to try something else, but this is not going to be easy for them.
I kind of want to go back to my original prediction of Golden Guardians winning the whole thing, but I can't. It's in writing. It's in writing. It's in writing. I can't go back.
Change your prediction twice.
It's in writing. It's in writing. Fine.
You have to commit, man. Yeah. Being non-committal. You said that to me once. I was being non-committal. Who's talking?
I think like all of us are a bit hypocritical here on the desk.
Not me.
At one point in that. You too. Then you're not immune to this.
I'll ride with it.
Oh, Lord.
I'm happy to be wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong. It makes it more interesting.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we're going into this game on Tolvaron Arena. We're getting an awesome skybox view once again from our lovely observers. This may just be Unitas Blue's last game of the season. Let's see what they can do here.
All right. Unitas Blue. Let's see. And they bring it back. So there's 2 things about this matchup. Number one is obviously all the things that Van mentioned. You don't want to be a mage here. It's not a good time. But number 2, we actually saw Skill Cap use Mage Warrior as a counter attempt towards jungle in the past as well. So going after Jellybeans on that Hunter with Mage Warrior is definitely a lot of pressure. And if the mage doesn't really die during the setups, I feel like the warrior just passively having uptime could be what just allows them to win. But Nuke with a big all the time is going to get back to full HP here.
Is he?
And actually, it looks a lot better. Maybe it doesn't look a lot better just yet. I was going to say it looks a lot better than game number 1 and 2. But Born Good will trade out the Trinket Sacrifice. Nuke now looking for the Dragon's Breath. Does not land it onto Absturge. They get a sheep on the Jellybeans. Are they going after Absturge here? No, they're going after WizK with the Combustion here. But Roar of Sacrifice says hello. And WizK stops taking damage immediately as a result of that. Now Nuke's going to be on the back foot. He's
Smexon is chopping up WizK. You can never count out Smexon on that Arms Warrior. He's definitely going to have to be the carry for the team here because Nuke is just absolutely getting dismantled by the Golden Guardians. He can't get any pressure out. He's on the back foot the whole game. He's trying to run for his life on match point. They're pushing for the cauterizing line of sights, but Jellybeans is there. Jellybeans is always there. Nuke is staring death in the face, facing down Jellybeans. Will he survive as Cauterize is burning him down? Born Good is trying to stabilize. Jellybeans just keeps pushing forward. Smexen disrupts the push with Spear of Bastion, but there's only one more Blessing of Protection in their line, and they can just purge that off. They swap to Jellybeans in the Stormbolt, trying to power him down, trying to create some momentum, but this is the scariest position you could be in as Unitas Blue. You face elimination.
Yeah, you face elimination, nuked, no cauterize, no ice block, nothing. And WizK, he's got his dispersion, he's got his fade. Abster's got Trinket Link. All we need to see is the Golden Guardians push forward. They got this game in the bag. A wind shear into a full spear. Nuke's on the run. Can they purge it? They dispel the altar time. He's so incredible. Nice war banner by Smexen. Saves the day, but maybe not long enough. Polymorph. They barely hold on.
Jellybeans!
Jellybeans goes down to 10% health. They panic. Everything gets traded out. That's going to be the Spirit Link. That's going to be the aspect of the turtle. The huge swing turn of events, and so much of that comes down to Smexen. Big shout out to Smexen on that Arms Warrior. Beautiful war banner. Turns around the pressure on Jellybeans and keeps his team in the game.
Yeah, but now Smexen taking a lot of damage here. They got a full freezy tap onto Born Good, stun onto Nuke. Nuke's gonna Trinket out. Do they have anything out? It looks like Whiskey is in position for the fear, but doesn't want to use it just yet. Smexen's still dangerously low. He gets a heal by Born Good. Born Good here around the corner now, going for a big heal here onto Nuke as well, able to stabilize his team. Whiskey now Goblin Racial away from the fight, trying to drag Smexen out. Smexen's gonna be the main target here. It looks like Whiskey and Jellybeans just poking Smexen a little bit more in line of sighting the mage right now, because Nuke is just super defensively positioned. If Nuke doesn't push in for a sheep, they're just happy to hit Smexen here and drag it out. And Abster's mana not doing super hot right now. Whiskey still kind of low. Sharpen Blade onto Whiskey. He ducks around the corner. Nuke now commits the combustion onto Jellybeans, and that's going to be an easy Roar of Sacrifice for Jellybeans. Now they could go back onto Whiskey. Whiskey gets pinned up by the spear, but he does have the greater fade, the 2 line of sight, the remainder of that combustion. Actually going after the pet a little bit with that. And now Siphon onto Nuke. There's a full stun. They have nothing. Born Good is got to be the one who trinkets here. Potentially. War Banner. Is it going to be enough though? They get the silence here onto Born Good. Nuke still dangerously low. The stun onto Born Good, but he might get away. But he will trinket and trade out the sacrifice. And now it is time for Unitas to get aggressive, Sid.
Yeah, they're going after Jellybeans. No trinket, that panic earlier. This could cost the Golden Guardians in game number 4. Crowd control down on Absterts. They're chasing down Jellybeans, but Nuked can't get there. It's just Smexen on Jellybeans. Can Smexen solo out Jellybeans here? He drops the Spear of Bastion, and I think Jellybeans is running a damage legendary, so he doesn't have the Feign Death to get out of that. They mind control Smexen, trying to pull him away from Jellybeans, trying to set up for the win. Next freezing trap could still be the game. 19 seconds away from an ice block. And they've interrupted Nuke, but they're not going for the kill just yet. Void Eruption from WizK, setting up for massive damage. Roar of Sacrifice onto Jellybeans. They want to get aggressive, but they haven't gone for any crowd control on Born Good just yet. They're still waiting for their moment, but I don't know how much longer they can wait. Abster just struggling to heal Jellybeans through Smexen. Jellybeans is trying to push forward. Nuke line of sights with all their time. He's not going to be able to stay on him. They have to pull away from the push. Good kiting from Nuke in that position. Smexen charges over to WizK. Doesn't want to chase Jellybeans behind the pillar. Jellybeans is setting up massive damage. Bestial Wrath, unused Trinket, going every cooldown in the spellbook to kill Smexen behind the pillar. Is Smexen ready for this hit on match point? He's on the run, trying to duck for cover, running the pets into the Ring of Frost. Good positioning by Smexen, avoiding a lot of damage, but he's still taking follow-up damage afterwards. Chops the Siphon. Here comes the combustion. Smexen gets mind controlled on it at low health. Counterspell interrupts the mind control. They're trying to kill Siphon. Born Good is struggling on match point. So little mana remains for him. Fortunately, though, Ice Block is off cooldown. Nice Spear of Bastion pins Jellybeans. Smexen goes in battle stance. Big Warbreaker hit. How much damage can he get out here? Needs to kill that Healing Tide Totem. He's not going for the Healing Tide Totem. That's going to get some value. Maybe he one-shot it. Just took time for it to delay. Abster's in a full poly. Mass Dispelled into a full blind. Amazing blind by Born Good. Now pummel on WizK into another polymorph. They're pushing to kill Jellybeans. Unitas are not going down without a fight.
Yeah, Jellybean's so low right now. He's got the sacrifice and the aspect of the turtle. Abster's going to be dropping down that Spirit Link Totem. Jellybean's really, really fast right now, moving forward. Trying to take down Nuke. He still has his Ice Block. The Born Good's almost just tapped on mana. Same time, we're seeing Unitas Blue. Last-ditch effort here over onto WizK.
MD!
So low! They Mass Dispel the Ice Block. He's got Cauterize coming up in 10 seconds. He just has to hold on 10 seconds. Born Good tries to buy him that time with a sacrifice. Purge is coming in.
WizK!
Sniping some damage at the same time. WizK gets low. Forced into dispersion. Nuke just so low. Everyone could just die. Jellybeans gets the famed death off a massive shield. After has to connect some heals. Where's the sacrifice? Sacrifice coming in way too late, or not at all. I don't know if his pet was crowd controlled, but Nuked manages to reset his combustion and get off just all out damage. I don't even know if there was crowd control in AWC at that point of the game, but what a crazy game number 4. I mean, every single game today is just
They're still playing. They're still playing. He's got no trinket.
Oh my God.
No trinket. 2v3. 2v3. They're proc the wild seed. Can Whiskey kill the wild seed? Whiskey's gonna go down. He's trying to kill the wild seed. He's in the stun. He can't kill the wild seed. It's in just a spell of man. Whiskey sits through a full stun. He can't kill the wild seed.
That was so close.
Maybe next CC chain. Are they still going to play this out?
Morgan is out of mana. They could potentially take this. Can they get the damage onto Nuked here? You got the sheep here on to Absturge. Whiskey in a stun though. No dispersion ready. No trinket ready. No outs for Absturge. No resheep either though. Borngood sitting down for a drink. That surely should be the game here. Whiskey. There's no way for Whiskey here. He gets... Yeah, there it is. They're going to just leave. They're just going to bow out. That was extremely close, though. I mean, if he had a Mind Games or something, actually, he's playing Necro, so never mind. But if he had something for that steed, could have maybe actually turned it into a 2v2 there.
Oh my gosh, that was intense. Not the end of the world, however. We are tied up now, so we're going to go to a game 5, and that just continues on in this pattern that we've had for every single game today. We're continuing to go to game 5s, and I think that's very indicative, Supatis, of just how much effort these teams are putting into these games.
Oh, look at Smexon, man. You could tell he came to play on that warrior, like tying Jellybeans. Like, Jellybeans has been pumping damage this whole series. Like, I'm glad they at least got Smexon back on warrior. I think that's a very important part of the formula for Unitas Blue here. But still, that was way too close. Like, it almost died 2v3. I almost think if the Golden Guardians just play a slower game and don't have those panic moments, that they could just win on mana. Like, who cares about overextending for a trap? Just do damage. Like, it seems like they can just push somebody over without even going for crowd control. I think playing a safer game on their part might be the better move overall. Just focus on countering the spears, countering the combusts, and play defense. But like, this was earlier on in the game. I think this is when Nuked was just getting absolutely mashed, like ice block on 1%. Think about this situation. He mass dispelled on his ice block, and I think it's Smexon that saves him. He like Spear Bastion's Jellybeans around the corner. But then, was this before or after the thing that we just watched? I feel like we're watching the same thing from a different point of view. So no block, no cauterize. There's nothing here really for Nuked. Like, he's dropping Dragon's Breath. He's desperate. War Banner from Smexon comes in, doing whatever they can to stay alive. Like, and this is where the blowout happened, I think. Yeah, Turtle and Spirit Link. That can't happen in my mind in the game. And right here, like, he's completely Borngood has no mana. I think Roar of Sacrifice must be bugged on the UI. There's lots of times where it looks like it's up, but the hunters aren't using it. And
his pet's
is this
pet's in
a ring?
Yeah, his pet's in a ring. And
over there.
Yeah, see, look how far it is. That's what happened. Nuked actually he Nova the ringed him, and then just sent the combust.
And then the 2v3. Look at, could he have dispelled? Did Absurge have a dispel here? Like, was there something that could have got Whiskey out? Because he's in void form. He can do instant damage to the Wild Seed. So he deaths them, he silences Paladin, they proc Wild Seed, and Borngood hodges Whiskey. Like, right out of this silence, Borngood hodges. And I mean, Abster just has to heal him, right? Like, he's thinking, like, I have to heal. When does he hodge? Right here. Like, this whole hodge. I feel like, I think yeah, he tries to kill the seed himself, but
purges.
Would dispelling Whiskey be more important here? Would it have mattered? Probably not. I feel like with Shadow Priest killing a Wild Seed is really tough, but... And even if it did go to a 2v2, does Shadow Priest Shaman with nothing beat Warrior Paladin?
I'm not sure about that.
Probably not.
I'm not sure about that, but what is happening?
Why are you doing this to me, man? I just said don't bench the beans. Yeah, really Jellybeans died, but it wasn't his fault. Why are you putting Jellybeans on the bench?
I'm actually really surprised that Golden Guardians is making this switch. Like, I'm really surprised, to be honest with you. I feel like that last game, I wasn't looking bad for them at all. I don't know. Every game has just been so ridiculously close so far, but Golden Guardians, they're going to put it all on the line with Peekaboo. They are benching the Beans and bringing in Peekaboo for Game 5 against Unitas and their Warrior Mage Paladin, but I can't help but feel like this is actually not a bad matchup for the Warrior Mage Paladin. Like, this doesn't feel like a counter comp by any stretch of the imagination, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I was saying earlier when they do use Jelly Beans, when he does come into play, like they never use him for a full series. It seems like they never commit to the compositions that he is in. Like they were doing pretty solidly with him being in these games. And, you know, when it really started to count, they swapped him off to maybe something a little more comfortable. Do you think that's what's going on here, Zico?
I'm not sure. I feel like for them, it's more about the matchup. I think Jelly Beans, he's kind of done what he needed to do. He forced Unitas off of their melee cleave, and if there's no melee cleaves, we all know the motto of RPS of Golden Guardians, and that is, does RPS win this? And if they think the answer is yes, then they always lock it in. That's just the Golden Guardians. Jelly Beans, he's there to. He's kind of the cleaner, the janitor who has to like clean up,
crew.
Make sure there's no pesky melee cleaves, arms warriors, or anything like that, and then you get Peekaboo in the mix.
Ah, I like that. He, wipes his hands off. He's like, all right, my job here's done. Take it away, Peekaboo. So let's hope that that comp swap works out for them, or we're going to see Unitas win this series. But as a reminder, Chad, this is an elimination round. We are going to game number 5, which means that the winner of this will be moving on, and the loser is knocked out of the tournament and will end up in 4th place for the North American region for AWC Season 2. Let's see who the winner is here for this next game, and the winner of this series on Tiger's Peak. It's Golden Guardians versus Unitas Blue, game number 5.
I don't think you bench the Beans. I'm worried now. I'm worried, man. Like, don't bench me. Jelly Beans is just carrying out of his mind and damage. Like, Peekaboo, I feel like there's a lot of pressure, coming off the bench now for him. He's going to have to pull this out for his team. He sets up beautiful crowd control on the entire team. Gets Born Good's Trinket right off the bat. Can't really start the game any better than that. WizK follows up with a stun into a full fear likely here as Peekaboo tries to push for pressure onto Nuke, purging down those barriers, throw weapon damage, trying to take out Nuke. They get a Blessing of Protection here, traded for Vendetta, so fair trade by Born Good. WizK now on the back foot, fades out of the Spear of Bastion, double fear from Smexen. Born Good is rolling up as well. Hammers are down onto Absturge, Stormbolt onto WizK, but Nuke can't get there. He's peeled by Peekaboo at the moment. They see a preemptive sacrifice or trinket sacrifice from Born Good. They were just anticipating some damage there, but he's not running the ultimate sacrifice, I would imagine, to throw it out like that all willy-nilly. Both teams begin to stabilize. Feels like there's maybe a slight edge to the Golden Guardians at the moment, but it's only slight.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what the Golden Guardians can do here. They get a Psychic Horror on Born Good and Kitty Shot on Nuke. Nuke's getting low. He gets wind sheared, trying to run away, but Peekaboo's all over him, drops a smoke bomb, but don't know if I like that one. Nuke's able to just immediately shimmer out of it. There's no stun to follow it up. Maybe just trying to bomb a heal or something like that. Nuke gets Blessing of Protection. Nicely done there. But now there's no Blessing of Protection for the Vendetta threat that's coming up in about 20 seconds. At the same time, big Combustion and Spear of Bastion on WizK, but it gets a Mass Dispel on Absturge. And now, as a result, Unitas Blue is going to lose a lot of their pressure, and Nuke's going to be forced to run away. He's behind the pillar right now, incredibly low. Born Good gets caught into a fear, but Nuke with a beautiful alter time gets himself back into the fight at full health and completely destroys Golden Guardian's setup.
Very, very nice setup there by WizK, but now it's going to be WizK on the back foot. He goes for the Master Spell. He gets pummeled by Smexen. Nuke, though, dropping usually low as well. The Shackles are coming in onto WizK. WizK's going to respect it with the Dispersion. They're going to get themselves a nice little ice block here from Nuke to get the Master Spell. They continue the chain. Big stun, silence combo here onto Born Good. Can WizK unleash enough damage? That is the question. Peekaboo's all over him. Full blind now secured here. Peekaboo now stepping over to Smexen.
Trinket Link.
Disarm here as well. Trinket Link will be traded out by Absturge. Full kidney shot secured again onto Nuke here. No Blessing of Protection, no sacrifice, just raw healing coming out from Born Good, but he doesn't have his wings just yet. He finally has them right now, but 10 seconds left. He gets dispelled into the Psychic Horror, and that will proc the Autorize, but now WizK with no defense left, Nuke with no defense left, and it is Unitas Blue's turn to get aggressive here, Super.
I mean, Nuke is actually just kiting Peekaboo. Peekaboo wants to wait for Vendetta. 30 seconds. Can he stall 30 seconds here? Absturge, no Trinket Link. Trinket Fade is all that's left for WizKid. They're setting up for the win on the Nuked. Can they get the crowd control into Born Good? WizKid rolls up, gets the Trinket sacrifice. Couldn't silence the Trinket just fast enough there. Born Good connects the cooldown and should begin to stabilize Nuke. Maybe not. Peekaboo's doing a lot of damage at the moment. Nuke is desperate, drops the Ring of Frost. He blinks away from the Vendetta. He's got Combustion available. I feel like Nuke needs to win the game with this Combustion. Where is he going to send it? 10 seconds left on Dispersion. Can they send it in time? Nuke is trying to get over there, but he's in a kidney shot. He can't connect with the Combustion. Vendetta is still rolling for Peekaboo. He's starting to build up momentum to take out Nuke, and WizKid now has Dispersion available. Nuke is trying to get there to go for the Combustion. He needs to connect this here. Born Good's mana is not good, but Peekaboo is still all over him on match point in game number 5, down to half. Born Good flesh crafting, trying to anticipate crowd control. Fear on Absurge, Polly on Peekaboo. They've isolated WizKid. Is Nuke gonna send the Combustion here? He sends the Combustion. WizKid immediate Dispersion, more than a fair trade, and they purge off the Combustion immediately. Nice reaction by the Golden Guardians. Smexon with no cooldowns. I think WizKid is going to be in a good position. They should start setting up to take out Nuke soon.
Let's see if they can do it. I mean, Nuke still, no ice block for 2 minutes. Peekaboo has been all over him. Beautiful altar time once again. Nuke uses altar time, but he's in a silence. And there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The smoke pump comes in for Peekaboo. Golden Guardians looking to eliminate Unitas Blue. Born Good with his Avenging Wrath and Defiance tops him off. And they managed to hold on, but they are running on fumes. They got nothing. Kidney shot on the Nuke. Born Good, can he pull off a miracle once again?
No way.
Full blind.
It is
Wild
over.
Seed?
Can they crack the seed?
Intervene the Wild
Golden
Seed?
Guardians just so close, and they do it. 3-2, bringing in Peekaboo, benching the Beans. A beautiful series by both these teams, but Golden Guardians pulls out ahead.
Phenomenal work here coming out from the Golden Guardians. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They had a very unfortunate start, but they're able to bring it back here and win with their infamous rogue Shadow Priest Shaman. And they take it down to Unitas. And for Unitas, they had such a strong season. I mean, these guys, they came from the depths of relegation. They fought their way through that tournament. They got first place, and they fought through the entire season as a newly